Hello and welcome back to my channel. Today we're gonna dig deep into another one of the corners of the engagement triangle. Today we're gonna speak about honesty and how honesty and being honest is something that you should put very top high on your list of priorities for this year if you are a manager. My name is Borja Marin, this is Corporate Cat. Let's begin. Okay, so as I mentioned before, honesty is one of the corners of the engagement triangle. If you haven't seen my video on the engagement triangle, please go ahead. I totally recommend you to go and click this one first, and then it's only 10 minutes. Come back, I will be here waiting for you. This is important because we need to keep in mind what is the target of the triangle of engagement, and it's to create this feeling of belonging, the sense of belonging. And we cannot have this sense of belonging without honesty. If we are not running an honest operation and the people that it's working with us don't feel that we are being honest, we don't have the trust, we will never have them feeling that they actually belong to the workplace. What is the worst enemy of being a leader, a people manager? It's being the enemy. It's very often seen as the workforce and management are two different things, two opposite forces fighting each other, while we should work on creating an environment which fosters the idea of all of us being in different roles, but we are rowing in the same direction. It's only we have different tasks to do, but if we all do our task properly, it's beneficial for all of us. So this is the first thing you have to keep in mind. You need to break or to work against this idea of management versus the workforce. Why honesty is so important? Honesty helps to set the culture in our project. The culture in our project is basically the values, the attitudes, and the habits that we share together as a team. You see, together is a very important word because it doesn't differentiate managers from the rest of the workforce. It's all together, we share the same thing. So this is why your role as a manager is to lead with the example and set what is the framework of the culture that you want to set there. Some key concepts for these culture settings are accountability. A very important part of the honesty bit is to be accountant of your own actions. Let's face it, if you are a people manager, an operation manager, and a strategic manager, you need to take a number of decisions every day, every week, every month. And out of all of these decisions, it doesn't matter how good you are, not all the decisions are going to be good, and some of the decisions that you're going to take are going to be wrong decisions. If you encounter such a situation, do not cover your tracks. Be honest with your team and be transparent. Why did you take the decision in the first place? When did you realize and how did you realize that that was a bad decision? And what is your plan to mitigate the damage that you have done? And this is a lot better than just to pretend that everything is fine, because you will not fix the problem and you will not build any trust from your team onwards, and you will not lead with an example that it's fine to be wrong and it's fine to admit it. Second, open communication. If you are new to a team, assume that they don't like you. And remember, and this will link a little bit to the concept of the dichotomy of control I explained in my first video, you don't have in your power to control what they think of you. But what is in your power is to make sure that you set the best example possible and try to attract as many people into the culture that you want to establish. Okay, so out of the team that you're gonna have, probably not everybody is gonna like you, but it's your job with all of them to establish very good open communication channels. Make sure that all of them have the time with you, and again, you are honest with them, you are telling them exactly what they're asking for. Never lie, don't hide information unless it's something confidential. We understand that when we're working, there are like some bits that are confidential till a certain point, but I'm not speaking about that at this moment of time. Throughout being honest and having these open channels of communication and listening to them, you will earn their trust. The third bit is the credibility. The credibility is very important to build a reputation. So if you always say the truth and you are honest, even in bad times, then your credibility is stronger. So when you say some good news, people don't have the reason to believe that you're lying to them, or you're putting the carrot in front of them just for them to follow through. This increases the reputation of your company or project as well, which is very important to retain people, but also attract people, because you want to make your operation be a brand that people want to be proud of, belong. And then other people will want to be part of this exclusive group, like companies like Google, for example, how a lot of people is willing to work there because they have forged a reputation of being like very good with the employees and so on. But now, I understand that being honest when things are good, it's pretty easy. Being honest, delivering bad news, it's when some people struggle, or they feel this anxiety, or they don't know how to approach that, or they don't know what to expect. So I have prepared like some tips for you. If you need to deliver bad news, on how to do it, always sticking to the honesty bit. These tips works either if you're delivering this news to a group of people or an individual. Number one, prepare and plan thoughtfully. These have two aspects. The first aspect is the data. Whenever you are delivering any kind of information to your team or any member of your team, this information needs to be fact-based, and you need to have the facts, documents, charts, number, whatever in your power. Never ever share news or any kind of information based on feelings. Only everything fact-based. And be prepared about following up questions. Imagine the situation and make sure that you have all the possible information that they may require from it. Still in the same point, the second part of the preparation is the visualization. Try to visualize two scenarios, one in which everything goes well and the team will take the news very positively, because this can happen, and it has happened to me. I'm delivering some bad news about something and then the team is extremely comprehensive. Visualize this, but as well visualize the other part. Visualize the case in which your team is going to react in a very emotional way, in a very sad way, or even in a very aggressive way, and try to prepare yourself for all the possible scenarios. Tip number 2, choose the right communication approach. Most of the time, when you are delivering news, especially if it's bad news, the preferred way will be always face-to-face. However, in the times that we are living with the remote work and the hybrid models and so on, can be difficult. So it's fine to switch to another models like the video conference. But always, if there is something negative to be said, don't do it in a chat or in a message or just in an email. Like an email is fine, but it needs to be addressed together with a meeting. An important point in this topic as well, think about who needs to be in this meeting, because especially if it's a one-to-one, my recommendation will be to keep it to the minimum amount of people possible, because you don't want to feel the person that you are delivering the bad news, that they are being attacked and they're being outnumbered. You can put like 5 managers in that meeting. That's gonna be a very stressful moment for this person, and probably there is no need for them to feel this way. So think about your team, like how can they feel. Tip number 3, be honest, transparent, and empathetic. This is the core of the discussion, right? Don't patronize your team. They are not little kids. You don't need to, explain things like if they're not understanding. Be direct, be straight. If you need to deliver bad news, these are the bad news and these are the reasons, and wait for what is going to be their questions, their reaction, and be empathetic. You know the news, you have had time to prepare them and to assume them and to interiorize them, but they are just listening the news for the first time. So their reaction, the emotional triggers that they're going to feel are different for each one, and they can be kind of unpredicted. So be very empathetic with how they're going to feel. Stay with them the necessary time. That leads me to the next point, the tip number 4, active listening and feedback. When you deliver bad news to individuals or groups, they will have doubts, concerns, fears, and they need to voice them out. Do not interrupt them. Do not try to minimize the value of their concern. It's absolutely normal that they will have this kind of concern, that they have this kind of fears, and you should not try to convince them that they should not have. This is not the moment to do that. Just listen to them and address the facts, okay? They will speak their truth. You take it. Write down whatever questions you can answer. Write down the questions that you cannot answer to find the answer in any other moment. Do not engage if any of them is aggressive. Just be empathetic. It's okay that they're a little bit aggressive or emotional in this moment. You need to understand that part too. The last tip, support and follow up. You have had time to prepare all of this, so you need to have a plan on how can you support your team after you have delivered some bad news. So if it's the case that somebody is going to enter in an improvement plan, this is the moment in which you will put a lot of resources into his reach, so they can have all this support and feel strong that they can go ahead with this challenge. If you are delivering some bad news that some people needs to be terminated for different reasons or for just adjustment in the company or in the project, see if you can help them getting into any other project, or you can help them with some recommendation letters or some flexibility, but you need to have a plan on how can you support your team if you want to be settling all this culture. Okay, so this is it for today. Thank you very much for being one more week with me. We will close the next week with the last corner of the engagement triangle. If you like this content, please drop me a like in LinkedIn or YouTube. Share, subscribe, any kind of support is very well welcome. And if you're only watching the videos and staying here with me as well, it's great help for me. Thank you very much. See you next week. Bye.